Doing good, but I'll tell you who's not doing good. This nigga Cashout, man. They gave this nigga like 8 life sentences. Yo, they gave this nigga so much time, he thanked the judge. Like, he got discombobulated. He was confused. Now, if you guys haven't been keeping up, you know, this is the real Diddy case, if you didn't know. So, Cashout was a rapper. He has this popular song. Anybody remember it? Who's old enough to remember Cashout's song? He had a really popular song from back in the day. You know? Anyway, by the way, this is the fact, and I don't want to mention anybody's name because I'm not a snitch. Well, I am, but I'm not really. Every falling off rapper or every one-hit wonder rapper sells drugs. All of them. They're either selling drugs or scamming. Every single one of them, Chad. I promise you. You know why? The moment they get a taste of the millions and the millions dry up, and now they got to go back to a Hyundai when they was just in that big body Benz? Nah, it's drug selling time. They get, yo, call up Pablo. We need some birds. yo, teach me how to crack the cars. What's the methods? Yo, trust and believe. So anytime I see a rapper who ain't had a hit in 5 or 10 years still flexing, I'm just wondering what he doing. You know what I mean? But anyway, my man Cashout, let me not say my man, holy, hasn't had a hit in a while, still living, you know, a lucrative life, supposedly. Does he have his, let me see his social media. Cashout Instagram. First of all, a nigga that name is Cashout can't look broke, right? A nigga named Cashout can't look broke, right? It don't matter if your last hit was like 15 years ago. You can't look broke, okay? 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 Exactly. Oh, shit. I wonder where he got that bird from. God damn. Holy shit. All right, nigga. Damn. And he got some extra cash in the back pocket. Okay, my boy.
All we doing is positive vibes, positive people. Man, people who really want to get rich, man. You talking about really, man, have patience, put that hard work in. Know it ain't gonna be easy, but we.
Every scammer always got a motivational speech. Yo, every scammer, drug dealer, everybody who be doing illegal shit to get money always be telling you to work hard. Yo, come on, man, just work hard, focus up, leave the hold alone, you know what I mean? Yo, you gotta really get out the money. Like, they be saying this shit. Nigga, what? How the hell is scammers, the drug dealers and the pimps and sex traffickers got motivational speeches for us? How the hell? Just have some patience, man. Listen, man, just wait your turn. Wait your turn. You're like, what is these niggas talking about?
We gonna get there. We gonna get there, man.
This is after they done scammed 1,500 old ladies, bro.
All we doing is positive vibes, positive.
It's always positive vibes with the goddamn criminals, huh? Part of being a boss is loving people before you love yourself. What? Wait till I tell you what he was charged with. What the hell? This is crazy.
Good morning. Let's wake up and get these errands, you dig what I'm saying? Every day. Don't do that, I see your thumb.
Nah, this is crazy. Ain't no way, Chad. Ain't no way.
Oh yeah, the motherfucker back now. Play Jack. Play Jack. Good morning from us, Jack. Oh yeah, the motherfucker back now. Play
Okay.
Jack.
All right. So even though my man hasn't had a hit in like 15 years, he would not pass up an opportunity to let us know Cashout was still cashing out. Okay? Now, let me read what actually ended up happening to him, right? So, first and foremost, well, I guess spoiler alert, the nigga got found guilty and sentenced to life in prison for RICO and pimping bitches, okay? Let me just read from Variety, rapper Cashout was sentenced to life in prison plus 70 years on RICO and sex trafficking charges. Okay, rapper Cashout has been sentenced to life in prison plus 70 years after being found guilty of RICO in a sexual assault case. Cashout, born as John Gibson, was found guilty on Friday in his Atlanta trial. He was sentenced to life in prison for his rape charge, as well as an additional 70 years for RICO and his other convictions. The sentences will be ran concurrently. The Atlanta MC experienced moderate success in early 2010 with his 2012 debut single Cashing Out, ironic, reaching number 1 on the Billboard Rap Airplay chart. He also scored another hit with She Twerking 2 years later when he released his solo album, Let's Get It. Alongside his sentences, his mother, Linda Smith, was also, oh, goddamn, even the mama was pimping these chicks. Goddamn. His mother, Linda Smith, got 30 years on RICO charge, while his cousin Tyrone Taylor was given life in prison plus 70 years. The trial, which began 2 months ago, concerned the allegations that Cashout, his mother and cousin, coerced and forced women into sex work over the course of several years. They were accused of exploiting women for profit, with prosecutors using evidence that included text messages from 8 cell phones. Charges were initially brought in June 2023 against Cashout, who allegedly leveraged his celebrity status to commit his crimes. His legal teams argued that the victims were bullied into testifying against him, while the prosecution claimed that he had engaged in a 7-year reign of terror. This has been going on for 7 years, Fulton County prosecutor Earl Winfrey said during the trial. This ain't just straight pimping. This is straight up trafficking, okay? He did address the court. I'll play that in a little bit. But to kind of explain this organization, we keep hearing RICO, and then obviously we've seen with Young Thug that didn't come to completion, but we kind of understood it there. With Diddy, he beat the RICO charge. Let's see Cashout RICO explain. Let's hear what, and by the way, yeah, he did give a statement before he got indicted. So let's get to some of the details really quick. I don't want to bore you guys, but it is important to understand what he was actually accused of. Where is it? Okay. And by the way, all the women who were involved in this pimping situation, they all testified against him, right? They all testified against him. Okay, is there not an easy explanation I could play? Okay. All right, let's hear what Ricky Smiley had to say. Let's see.
Right.
What up, Rick? Victims. It has been claimed that some of the women were held against their will and others were beaten. Fulton County Deputy District Attorney Winfred said, "We've rescued 2 so far. Some of these women are our most vulnerable women, and he lured them in, let them believe that he cared about them and that he would take care of them, only to flip the script and then begin to pimp them out." He's accused of whipping a young lady who's a sex worker, and this was one of the girls that he had recruited. The rapper reportedly previously pled not guilty, but this new indictment has several more charges. Cashout is currently incarcerated. If convicted, he faces 25 years to life in prison. That
man,
is
that is
crazy.
Absolutely
That's
disgusting and sad.
Yeah,
and our women
like,
need to be protected.
Man,
That's why we're here to protect women. That's like the first order of business.
Little sister or your own little cousin.
He said, "Come on in here and get this tea while it's hot." She began. So apparently it's a party going on where plaques are given away for my.
Okay. All right. So.
He's pled not guilty.
Oh, one of his co-defendants got life. Oh, yeah. He was cooked. Now, here's the ironic thing about this chat. Cashout was offered 25 years. So they offered him 25 years. He would be able to get out. I don't know how old he is, maybe like 30-something. He would have got out by like 50-something. He said no. He took the Diddy method, but he don't got Diddy money. And this case, honestly, is very different from Diddy's, right? Diddy was just freaky. This was pimping, right? And he blew trial. And essentially he got found guilty and got a life sentence, right? Before the judge actually handed down his or her actually, that's another bad sign. You have a black female prosecutor, black female judge, and you're charged with pimping. Nigga, that's like Diddy walking into court with 6 white women, bro. Again, except you're just not Diddy, right? Here we go. He made a statement for about 8 minutes before the judge gave him life. He was found guilty on Friday of RICO, rape, holding people false in prison. He got found guilty of goddamn everything. He did get acquitted of certain things, but he got found guilty of the home run charges. And when I say home run charges, the shit that carry damn near life. Sexual assault, sex trafficking, RICO. He got found guilty of all of those. Here we go.
So before I ask the court for what I'd like to ask the court to do, can I have my client address the court?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
What would you like to stand?
Good morning today, Your Honor.
Good morning.
I want to start out by thanking you for giving us a fair trial. I want to thank the jurors for the amount of time that they put in to judge this trial. This time being on this
Yes, this attorney was in the YSL trial.
I was able to see how the jurors are put in a tough position to, sit there and judge someone's life, and, it's a hard decision, and I felt like they made the wrong judgment. I've done things in my life. I'm not perfect. But the things I've been accused of, I know that I haven't done those things. I know it's typical for a person to come up here and, show remorse to, crimes that they have done, but I can only show remorse to the people that I know that was in this trial, which is.
Oh, they're bleeping that out.
Not remorse on behalf of like I did anything to them, because if you know me and people who really know me know that I wouldn't force anybody to do anything. I met women, I dated women who were doing escort or whatever, however people want to look at it from a moral standpoint, but who was doing these things as a grown woman. I've only dealt with grown women. Nothing was forced. Nothing was coerced or anything of that nature. If you notice, before this trial, no woman can say anything about me before this trial. If you notice, before this indictment, no woman can say anything about me before this indictment. I get the situations that people are put in when they're faced with a certain type of crime or a certain type of time, and they're bullied into this situation to put the blame on someone, or to put the blame on Cashout, or to put the blame on someone.
I'm going to be honest with you. For his explanation here, he might as well have taken a stand. So I don't know. He's not apologizing here, people. He's actually saying, I know people usually come up here because he's already found guilty. He's like, his fate now lies in the hands of the judge and how much years she's gonna give him. He's saying most people come up here and just apologize and just own responsibility, but I can't do that because I really feel like I didn't do nothing wrong. So again, he's kind of saying, yeah, I sat here and I think y'all made the wrong choice. So he's not really apologizing. He's saying that, he's trying to use a Diddy argument. These are grown women. They did what they wanted to do. The difference, I would probably say, I don't know this case in and out. You were selling the women and they relied on you for money. And you supposedly, according to the case that was like similar to it, for his co-defendant that was tried separately but got found guilty as well, that they used to beat the women and kind of I mean, you're kind of coercing them if you're pointing guns at them, right? Come on now.
One who's at the top. That's why I didn't really fault them for their decision. I didn't fault for making her decision during a proffer. She just had a child. Mind you, she was just on video call with me while being incarcerated. I don't fault for doing the thing.
Oh, this nigga name dropping.
And she did.
By the way, all the girls flipped on him.
With her proffer, because mind you, she was facing a certain amount of time handling her probation in different cases that she's on. I don't fault people for making accusations because I'm a man that typically let women leave on their own behalf. Never held them in prison or held them in slavery or said you can't leave me or you can't do this. Every woman you seen come on this stand showed you that they left and came back willingly on their own. What I mean by that, they left on their own and they came back willingly on their own. During this trial, I was able to see, how valuable life is and how valuable the people that you hang around or the people that you even date or the people that you even know, how valuable it is to judge their character. Sometimes I let people stay around who I knew was going to affect a situation that I had going on. So I don't, and for the people who came to this trial that I never met a day in my life, never had any contact with them, never had a text message with them, never had an interaction with them, don't even know where most of these stories came from, it's baffling. Never forced a woman to commit a sexual act. I've been traveling all around the world from here to Dubai, and you would never hear a woman say that I forced them to do anything sexual or commit a rape with anybody. I don't hang around people that do things of that nature. I feel like, and somebody asked me this the other day, it was like, every time I see your head high and you always smiling, because when you have that confidence, it takes me back to the Bible. When you have that confidence and you can be falsely accused of things, Jesus was falsely accused, a lot of the prophets were falsely accused. You don't have that emotion like you've done something, so if you see me with my head high or if you see me smiling, it's because I know at the end of the day, through Jesus Christ, the Most High will always give you the actual judgment. So I really thank you for providing us a fair trial. Just me getting to know you during trial, I was like, she's just the judge. But when you sit 12 people in that panel and you have them, judge our lives and, put them in a position to judge our lives, it takes you back to, once again, the Bible, when people had to judge these prophets' lives. And I say, if you know me, you actually know me. There's plenty of people that know me in this world. There's plenty of people that know me in this jail. There's plenty of people that know me where I'm from. Like I say, once again, I'm not perfect. I come from certain areas. I come from, certain environments. I come from doing things in my past life before the music. But I'm here to tell you that if you sat in this trial and you paid attention to this trial, before these dates, no woman could ever say, I done those things to them. Before these dates, you can go on my Instagram and see these women enjoying themselves, having their own things, living their own life. Before these dates, I can say you had these women that never had anything to say about me before this indictment, before the RICO. You had these women actually talking to me while I was incarcerated. I've been incarcerated for 4 years, and these women are interacting with me. These women who took the stand and supposedly scared of me or monsters or I'm a monster or took these proffers. This wasn't the case before they was indicted. So from my perspective,
okay, he's kind of making a point here, but again, he should have took the stand. I'm wondering where the fine line is, and obviously, Fulton County, they love the RICO. Like they absolutely cherish and love the RICO charge, and they were successful here. I think what he really means to say, and this is why I said he should have took the stand. Maybe he could have been on some Diddy shit, pause, and just said, listen, yo, check this out. Yo, I pimped a few hoes, but I wasn't doing all of this other shit in no organized fashion. I met a couple bitches. They already was selling pussy. I knew some niggas that had some money that want to buy some pussy. I put him with her with him. I took my cut off the top. Yeah, I was pimping. That's a charge too. But that's not a life sentence plus 70 years. I think that's what he's kind of alluding to, because what happens is they take that and they now say, oh no, you forced these women to do this. They didn't want to do this shit. Because that's what sex trafficking is, right? Like you illicit commercial sex acts from women using force, fraud, or coercion, right? And I think what he's saying, like, yo, these are grown women. Yeah, I'm broke. I'm a rapper, or I was a rapper. Yeah, I was like connecting 1 and 2, getting whatever. And again, that if you ask me, that's the difference between this motherfucker doing 5 years and this nigga doing life, right? Because they trumped up the RICO to say he had a system. He had his mama doing this. He had his so-and-so doing that. And that's why, you know, I think somebody said they overbaked him. Yeah, they overcooked his ass. I ain't gonna lie.
I feel like some people can get bullied into a situation that they really don't really wanna do. And I'm sitting here just holding my head high and just, you know, feeling that one day the truth will come out. One day the truth will come out on my situation. One day the truth will come out on this rape allegation. That these things never happen. And when you see a person get up on that stand and put their hand on the Bible and swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, that means you have to be perfect like you're Jesus. You have to be perfect on that stand. You can't show a flaw. And that's a tough one. It's a tough one for me because I had flaws in my life. So you have to tell the complete truth on that stand. And I got up there and see people put their hand on that Bible and not tell the complete truth. And that's baffling. But at the end of the day, I put my trust in the Most High. I put my trust in the universe to bring out the truth. To bring out the truth of these people who made these allegations. To me, it's like you have no heart. You have no heart. And I know people want me to stay in line or walk a toe, but when you speaking something truthfully and you speaking from the heart and you know that this is not your character, something must be said. And I just wanted to address the court and give my perspective on the things that I felt during this trial and the judgment that I felt that the jurors gave us was not the correct judgment. And it will show. All right. Thank you.
All right. All right.
All right. This is where you get overcooked right here.
You are to register.
Here we go.
30 pimping, 20 years.
Here we go.
The sentencing to be meted out by this court will be responsive to that. Mr. John Michael Hakeem Gibson, would you please stand? Okay. On count 1, violation of the Georgia RICO Act, 20 years to serve in confinement to run consecutive with count 10. On count 10, rape, life in confinement.
Damn.
Count 12, aggravated sodomy, life in confinement to run concurrent with count 10. Count 22, trafficking a person for sexual servitude, 20 years to serve in confinement to run consecutive with count 1. Count 23, trafficking a person for sexual servitude. 20 years to serve in confinement to run consecutive with count 22. Count 24 on the lesser included offense of battery. 12 months to serve in confinement to run concurrent with count 10. Count 25, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. 5 years to serve in confinement to run consecutive with count 23. Count 26, pimping. 12 months to serve in confinement to run concurrent with count 10.
So you see what I was saying? So the pimping charge, it's a year. They give him a year. However, obviously rape, life. What else? That's life. What else? RICO, he got 20, and then all of the sex servitude, which is like sex trafficking, 20 years.
Count 27, pandering. 12 months to serve in confinement to run concurrent with count 10. Count 28, keeping a place of prostitution. 12 months to serve in confinement to run concurrent with count 10. Count 29, willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. 12 months to serve in confinement to run concurrent with count 10. Count 30, simple battery, merges into count 24, battery. Count 45, possession of prohibited items by an inmate. 5 years to serve in confinement to run consecutive with count 25. Conditions of this sentence: no contact with any of the victims named in the indictment, to include Diamond Irvin or their families.
Damn.
You are to register as a sex offender. You are to stay away from 737 Alfred Road in Atlanta. You are to stay away from the Mezzo condominium, 2171 Peachtree. You are to stay away from the St. George's Commons address, and you are to stay away from the Fulton Industrial Boulevard corridor. All right, you may be seated. All right, Ms. Smith and counsel, please stand.
That's the mom.
As to count 1, violation of the Georgia RICO Act, 20 years to serve in confinement. Count 37, trafficking a person for sexual servitude, 10 years to serve in confinement to run consecutive to count 1. You're to have no contact with any of the victims, including Diamond Irvin, named in this indictment, or their families. You are to register as a sex offender. You are to stay away from 737 Alfred Road, the Mezzo at 2171 Peachtree Road, the address at the St. George's Commons, 9340, and the FIB, Fulton Industrial Boulevard corridor. You may be seated.
They gave the mom 30 years.
All right, Mr. Taylor. On count one, violation of the Georgia RICO Act, 20 years to serve in confinement, to run consecutive with count nine. Count nine, rape, life in confinement.
Damn, why'd she say it like that?
Count 11, aggravated sodomy, life in confinement, to run concurrent with count 9. Count 13, trafficking a person for sexual servitude, 20 years to serve in confinement, to run consecutive with count 1. Count 15, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, 20 years to serve in confinement, to run consecutive with count 13. Count 16, false imprisonment, 10 years to serve in confinement, to run consecutive with count 15. Count 17, pandering by compulsion, 10 years to serve in confinement, to run concurrent with count 9. Count 18, possession of cocaine, 3 years to serve in confinement, to run concurrent with count 9. Count 19, tampering with evidence, 12 months to serve in confinement, to run concurrent with count 9. Count 20, willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer by use of threats or violence, 10 years to serve, to run concurrent with count 9, and a suspended fine of $300. You are to have no contact with any of the victims named in the indictment, nor are you to have any contact with Diamond Irvin or any of their families. You are to stay away from the Fulton Industrial Boulevard corridor. You are to stay away from 737 Alfred Road in Atlanta. You are to stay away from the Mezzo address at 2171 Peachtree Road and the address at the St. George Commons, 9340. You register as a sex offender.
Well, damn. Now, I ain't gonna lie. I wish I had the indictment here. If anybody got a link to the indictment, I could look it up, but I want to like pause the stream. I gotta read what these motherfuckers really did. Like, I know he was pimping, clearly, but the obviously there's sexual assault in there too, but the idea of like this whole like trafficking someone for sexual servitude, which is sex trafficking. I'm wondering, I want to see the descriptions of those. I didn't really follow this case a lot. This didn't get televised. But I did hear like pretty much all the women like came forward and admitted that they were getting their ass beat or they were, you know, threatened to continue in this sexual, you know, well, they now call it sex trafficking, right? All right. Well, Cashout, well, good luck on appeal, but shit, they gave you so much time. This is the crazy thing about a sentence. They gave him so much time that if he died 3 times, he's still going to come back and still not leave the jail cell. And they're going to tell him, but just make sure you stay away from 25 Peachtree Road. It's like, bitch, I can't go nowhere. I can't go nowhere. This is crazy. All right. I see.